Sit in Sukhasana. Keep your back straight. Starting prayer. Inhale, take your arms over your head. Straight and long, sideways. Exhale, bring to heart center. Close your eyes. Take inhalation. Together. Trayambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukamiva bandhanan mrityormukshiyamamridad. Inhaling, take your hand straight up through the center. Exhaling, bring the hands down slowly. This is interactive session, more of learning, discussions, rather than practicing. We start with loosening practices. Those who are practicing along with me, you can do that. If you want to observe, you can do that. First, lie down. After lying down, keep the legs together, hands close to the body, palm facing the ground. Inhaling, stretch the toes forward. Exhaling, pull it back. Inhale, front. Exhale, back. Inhale, front. 5 times. Exhale, back. Inhale, front. Exhale, back. One more. Inhale, point your toe and exhale, pull it back. Rotate your feet. 1, all the side. 2, 3, 4, 5. Opposite side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bend both the legs. Keep your feet close to the hips on the mat. Inhaling, straighten your left leg up. Exhaling, bend it. Inhale, right. Exhale, bend. Inhale, left. Exhale, bend. Inhale, right. Exhale, bend. One more. Inhale, left. Exhale, bend. Inhale, right. Exhale, bend. Together. Inhale, 1. Exhale, bend, keep it on the mat. Inhale, 2. Exhale, bend. The knees and thighs are together. Inhale, 3. Exhale, bend. They are squeezing. Inhale, 4. Exhale, observe the feet. Inhale, 5. When you reach there, the toes are pointed. Exhale, bend, place it on the mat. Inhale, spread the arm sideways, shoulder level. Exhale, tilt knee to the left, look at the right hand. Inhale, bring it back, look sky. Exhale to the right, look left hand. Inhale, up. Exhale, left. Inhale, up. Exhale, right. Look to the other hand. Inhale, up. One more. Exhale, left. Inhale, up. Exhale, right. Nothing else changes. Inhale, up. Exhale, leg down, hand down. Inhale, raise both the legs 30 degrees. Exhale, left leg bend, chin on the knee. Release, right. Release, left. release, right, release, left, release, right, one more, release, left, release, right. Inhale, head down, left leg down. Exhale, release the right leg. See the process. Inhale, arms over the head. Exhale, point your toes. Inhale, left leg 90. Exhale, down. Inhale, right. Exhale, down. Nothing else changes. Inhale, left. Exhale, down. Inhale, right. Exhale, down. Observe the feet. Inhale, left. Point your toes. Exhale, down. Inhale, right. Exhale, down. Together. Inhale, 1. Exhale, down. Inhale, 2. Exhale, down. Inhale, 3. When it comes up, I look at the toe. Exhale. 3 is over. Inhale. Exhale. Last. Inhale. Stay for a while. 1, 2. Breathing normally. 3. Nothing else changes. Only the feet comes up. The leg comes up. 4, 5. Back is flat. 6, 7. I'm holding the legs with my stomach and back. 8, 9. Breath is normal. 10. Exhale slowly. Inhale, bend the left leg. Exhale, turn. After turning, keep your palm by the side of the chest. So don't keep your palm here. Some people are doing that. Keep it chest. I did not say shoulder. Inhale, lift your upper body. Exhale. See how the cobra is building. Inhale. Exhale. Is the elbow going away from the body? No. Inhale. Common mistakes. Exhale. Is the feet spreading? No. Inhale. Exhale. I am building my back bending. Inhale. Now stay. 1, 2. I'm arching the back. 3, 4, 5. Exhale. Inhale, come up on the knees and hands. Cat position. Exhale, arrange. Your feet, standing toe, distances. All that is done during that exhalation. So standing toe is better. Inhale, left arm, right leg stretch. Exhale. 2. Fold. 3. Fold. 4. Fold. One more. 5. Stay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 1, 2. Rounding. 3, 4, 5. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, other side. Fold. 2. Fold. 3. Fold. 4. Last. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale to cat. Exhale, sit Vajrasana. Arms in front parallel. Close, open, fist, close, open, close, far away open, close, open, close, spread, palm down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Fist close, wrist rotate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hands to shoulder. Straighten the arm, front. Fold, straight. Fold, straight. Inhale, exhale. One more. Inhale, exhale. Fold, touch elbow. Shoulder, 1. With awareness. 2. Feeling each corner. 3. 4. 5. Change. 1, 2, 3. Did you observe elbow touching in front? 4. Last. 5. Interlock finger. Inhale, stretch your arm. Line up the back. 1, 2. Locking the anus. 3, 4. And 5. Exhale, hands down, Dhyana Mudra. Inhale, sit to left. You can sit to any side. Exhale, legs in front. Hands back, shake the legs. Little time. After some time, stop shaking. So stop shaking, it stops here, not like this. Just relaxed. Feet is falling away, no, there is no effort required here. Then chin down, neck rotate. 1. All side. 2. In breath, out breath. 3. What is the benefit? You will not go too fast. Because you have to inhale, exhale, no? 3. 1 more. Sorry, 4. Sorry, and 5. Change. 1. See, I did not keep my hand too far behind. If you do this, the next rotation will not be complete. If I keep it too close also, then it's tough. So I keep it somewhere midway. Not midway, little back. 2. So I get proper rotation. 3. 4. 1 more. 5. Legs together, sit straight. Inhale, take the arms sideways up. You can see the back straightness. How do you sit straight? This is not sitting straight. When you sit straight, the sit bones, the body will come up, the chest will come up. And you'll feel like real straightness when it happens. You can see how the chest comes and the original shape of the back comes here. In original back shape, you will have a slight S here. There will be a slight, little front, your lower back. Like that, line up. I'm not bringing my head down, I'm bringing the stomach. I'm bending from here, the pelvis, not from my lower back. Second one. I have caught the toe now. Third one. side of the feet. Fourth one. Got the heel almost. Last one. Stay for a while. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, sit up, hands up. Exhale. See that straightness? This is what you should sit. When you sit, this is the back straightness you must get. When you sit Sukhasana, this is the way. Not like this. Yep. Up. Wide chest, wide shoulder, chest up. Arms are relaxed. Arms are not very tough. Any doubts regarding loosening practices? Anybody? Any questions?
Sir, 2 questions, sir.
Yeah.
So first one is the spine twisting loosening practice.
Hmm.
When we stretch our hands and then this one legs are twisted,
Yeah.
my shoulders tend to move a little down. First it is straight, but it tends to move a little down when I'm stretching. Is that okay?
That is when you this one.
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, yes.
Your hand is moving downwards.
Yes, sir. It's moving down.
Okay. Maybe you can stop where it. So when you tilt, one foot goes in the air. No, if you can, you may try like this. Let's see. I'll show you to the other side. When you twist like this, keep the knee a little offset. It may help to. So if you keep knee over the knee, the twist is little more intense. You can see the knee and knee doesn't change. If I am doing, I can see the one foot goes up. See, this feet goes above the other feet. If you do like this knee goes a little down, this knee is up. If you do this, it's a little more easy. You may try like that. Are you doing? Or
sure, sir. I'll try.
Yeah, like don't keep knee over the knee like this. Instead of that, keep the feet in the same place and just slide the knees. You got it? I hope you're able to get me. Just slide your thighs and keep a little offset here. So the feet remains in its original position and the twist a little reduced. It may help to
okay, sir.
Avoid.
I'll give a try.
Yeah. Other question, you had one more?
Yeah, the second one is when we are doing Marjorie 2,
Yeah.
you had mentioned that when we get our forearms inside, when we touch our forearm with the leg basically, that time you had mentioned that the backbone to be pulled in, something like that.
A little rounding the back you can bring, little rounding like.
How do you do that, sir? How do you do that?
See, now from here, it's a little U shape of the back. Here, little round here, like you do when you do this. This is U, this is inverted U, right? You may not get the very similar action, so you can do little U and little inverted U. It should not be like this. Got it? The difference?
Got it, sir. Got it.
Rounding.
Yes, sir. Yes.
That way. Yeah, because I found some people not getting that full U shape. I mean, little, they are almost flat. So I thought I'll mention that so that people become a little more aware of it.
Got it, sir. Got it.
Yeah. Anyone else? Otherwise, you go to Surya Namaskar. Okay. Samastiti. We'll do 4 rounds. Standing straight, feet together, arms tight. Inhale, take the arms over the head. Exhale to heart. Eye close, inhale. हिरण्मयेन पात्रेण सत्यस्यापि हितं मुखं तत्त्वं पूषन्न पावृणो सत्यधर्माय दृष्टये। Inhale, take the hands straight up. Exhale, hands down. Okay. So I brought the hands down just to explain regarding the breath. So till now there was not much of breath focus in what you were doing. After this, the breath is the primary focus. Remaining else is a follower. The breath is the leader hereafter. Every breath has to be taken with regulated, controlled behavior. So all that breath will be with throat control, which sounds like this. So this is the breath which can be continuously controlled. You may be able, even if you breathe like this, few times you may be able to control your breath, but it is not a permanent kind of solution. The more you practice, your breath may get lost. So you have to breathe like that in all the steps of Surya Namaskar. I will be talking, so my breath will not be correct. I'll show one round without talking also. Ekam, inhale. Dvi, exhale. Trini, left leg. Inhale, head up. Chatwari. Pancha. Shat. Sapta. Ashta. Nava, left leg. Dasha. Ekadasha. Dvadasha. Om Mitraya Namaha. Ekam. Dvi. Trini, right. Chatwari. Pancha. Shat. Sapta. Ashta. Nava, right. दश, एकादश, द्वादश, ॐ रवये नमः। एकम, द्वि, त्रीणि लेफ्ट, चत्वारि, पंच, षट्, सप्त, अष्ट, नव लेफ्ट, दश, एकादश, द्वादश, ॐ सूर्याय नमः। एकम, द्वि, head last, त्रीणि right, exhale, पंच, षट्, सप्त, अष्ट, नव राइट, दश, एकादश, द्वादश, ॐ भानवे नमः। समस्थिति। So I have done 4 rounds of Surya Namaskar. So any doubts on Surya Namaskar?
Sir, I had a question.
Anybody? Any doubts? Then only talk. Otherwise, no need to talk.
Sir, I had a question.
Yeah, tell no.
Sir, none that. Come back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry. The knee, the elbows.
Elbow should be close to the body. Don't spread it. Keep your elbows close to the body. No, your elbows are going away. Go down again. Keep your elbows tight on the body, very close. I think you're not there. You're gone. You're not connected, is it? I think. Tanmay.
No,
you're not visible. Yeah. So what you have to do? Your elbow is going away. See, if I look from the top, it's like this. It should be close. It should be close into the body, but not squeezing. That's the change you have to make. Tanmay, are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So don't. You are keeping like this. You just see my back like this. Keep it into the body, but not squeezing. Little. So it should be like this, not like this. Okay, that's the one you have to change. Yeah. Anybody else?
Yes, sir, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
Sir, all this Chaturanga Dandasana and all, Bhujangasana and all, our feet should be together or it should be away?
Chaturanga Dandasana feet is together, but your Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, when you lift up, that time your feet separates. So for example, in this position, when you are in Chaturanga, your feet is together here. So from here, when you slip your toe, you have to take it back. At that time, your feet will be a little away from each other. It's not that it should be squeezing, a little, this is fine. But when it comes to your upward facing dog, that time your feet will be separate. It will not be together like this.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, I had a question on the
Yeah.
last round where we hold the positions, right?
Yeah.
I'm always confused which positions we have to hold for the counts. Can you just tell
Yeah. So
that? Because
yeah.
because of the,
See all the steps where there is a see all the steps we are holding once. Most of the steps. See, Ekam, inhale. We are going to do it again, so we don't hold it the first time when you inhale. Dvi, exhale, bend forward. That time we are not holding because while coming back, that comes again. So we hold it while coming back. So this position we don't hold. Here we have reached. Now Trini, inhale. This position comes only once when you are doing Surya Namaskar, correct? So we start holding from here. So this position is done with a inhalation. So we start exhaling here. Finish the second inhalation. Then exhale, we take the right leg back. This position comes only once. So we have to hold it. Then inhale again. Exhale. Inhale, keep the knee down. Exhale, sit back. How many times this position comes in Surya Namaskar? Anytime? How many times does it come?
once only. Sir.
Only once. So we hold this also 2 breaths. Every position you have to hold once. Then this is an intermediate position. This is not a counted pose. It is just to inhale and exhale. This also we come only once. So count 2 breaths here. Then this one also we come only once. So count 2 breaths here. This position we stay 5 breaths. This position, just like how do we stay in Ashtanga A and B, like that, stay 5 breaths. Then inhaling, take the right leg forward. This position also we come only once. The previous time when we did, that time left leg was in front. So this position never came in the Surya Namaskar. So we stay here again. Then returning other leg forward. Now this position we did while going, but 2 times we don't have to hold. So here we hold 2 times, 2 breaths. Then inhaling, stretch the arm back, stand up and back. Here also we came the second time here. Here we hold with normal breathing. And then exhale, Namaskar. So every position we hold once.
Yeah, got it, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Anyone else? Any queries on Surya Namaskar?
Sir, that last position, the last 12th round,
Yeah.
While coming back, you told me not to keep hand as V shape.
Yeah. So sometimes earlier you used to correct it. Sometimes your hand goes like this. I have observed it. So when you take your arm back, you can see the arm should be parallel. You can see the arms parallel. Sometimes it's going this way, little like this. Not too much, but a little it going like this. Maybe you that way. So ideally it should be like this. Like that. We try to keep them real parallel. So it becomes more elegant, and the stretch also becomes a little more good. Instead of little V shape comes sometimes. Not always. I think some rounds you're conscious, some rounds that somewhere it becomes away. And I think in between you corrected some few weeks back or a month or two back. So just be aware of it. Nothing, not a major mistake.
Got it, sir. Noted.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I had a one. Well, going back. Here, there only.
Yeah.
Well, this I come down.
Okay. What is the question?
Sir, my knee, the elbows bent while coming down.
So you're not taking the hand forward, no? You're directly coming like this. I'll tell you what you're doing. Like this you're coming. You're bringing the hand. See, the hand has to go front like this. See the hand. Where is hand going? Did you see this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, body is going front. So from here, you have to bend front. It's not down. You're bending like this. The hand is going digging. That should not be done. You have to take the arm front, the body front. For that, you have to put effort. So that, like that. So when you do that, then the bend comes. So these are all techniques you have to use. For that, you have to cut down your speeds. You have to slow down, then it will come. Yeah. Anyone else? Any question? Nobody. And another thing which I found is many people, they start, so that is another thing. See, all the instructions or pictures are not for leading the practice. The lead has to come from our own knowledge, our own preparation, our own plan. So there is a time, right? So for example, one movement takes, let us say, 5 seconds. For example, when you bend forward from standing position, it takes about 5 seconds. That's as per the standard timing. What we use in the university also. They have defined, okay, Ekam, inhale, stretch your arm back. That takes about 4 seconds to do that. Dvi, exhale, bend forward. That takes about 5 seconds. Now what happens is, if a person does not know the step, he will wait for the instructions to be given or the picture to happen. So by the time that happens, for example, Ekam, inhale, stretch your arm back, that itself takes 2 seconds to tell. So and that actual action is about 4 seconds. So what is the time remaining? Only 2 seconds. Correct. So you'll be forced to make that action within the remaining time, or maybe 1 more second extra. So in that process, what will happen? Either you will lag, the entire group who knows the things will be going at the correct speed, and these people who don't know or who are waiting for those instructions to be completed, they will all be lagging. So that should not happen. You should know, okay, now this is the round number 2, my right leg has to go back first. You should not, so that, when this calculation happens in the mind, then we will not be delayed. We will get sufficient time to take a step, because we know what is happening, right? What is going to come next. So you don't have to wait for my instruction to get complete, or you don't have to wait for that picture to appear in front of you. Although it doesn't happen, right? So that level of experience has to come when you practice gradually. Initial 1 or 2 weeks, fine, but after 2-3 weeks, once you gradually learn the things, you should be able to practice with the flow. When the bell comes, your action starts. When the bell stops, the action stops, like that. And otherwise, what will happen? Your breath will not be long. You will feel that, oh, I'm not able to keep pace. It is not the pace which is the problem. The problem is our planning or our own awareness of the practice. That is the problem. It is not the pace. An action cannot take longer than half a breath. Imagine you are bending forward, taking 10, okay, first I will realize, okay, kya karna hai. Fir sochenge, fir karenge. By that time, how many breaths you will take? That's not the way to practice. You have to act in that timing. One inhale means one inhale. You cannot take inhale, exhale, all those things. That cannot be done. Okay, so please practice. What another way to develop this knowledge is that practice individually on your own at home. You may be attending 3 days a week class, some of you just 2 days a week, right? Other 3 days or 4 days practice on your own. Then you will realize, okay, there is no timer, there is no instruction, how do I do? So then you have to discover on, on your own. Ekam, inhale. Dvi, exhale, bend forward. Trini, inhale, left leg back. You will be forced to think on your own. And then when you come to the class, yes, you will be able to practice with your own planning. That is important. Just giving you my inputs, no, because I observe people. No? When I have all the people in front of me, when you are practicing, every person, how he practices, I can easily understand. Very easy for me to pick up these clues from the way you do the things. That's it. Now, asana practice. What is the first asana? Parsha Konasana, Parivartava. Any other queries? First I will handle any other queries if it comes in the standing asanas. Or any, then so I will just keep it in my mind so that I will answer them. Or you can interrupt me anytime and take that questions. Samasthiti. Parsha Konasana means side angle posture. Ekam. First you have to take an inhalation. See, it's an effortful in-breath which inflates it. I inflated bottom, side and top, everything. Full inhalation. Ekam, exhale, right leg out. How much? 4 to 4.5 foot. It should not be this much. If you do this much, you will not be able to do Parsha Konasana. So this is the distance. Ekam, exhale. Dvi, inhale, turn your right foot, look over the shoulder. I did not say turn the body. What do I say? I say exhale, turn the right foot and look over the shoulder. That's a step. Because the body does not have to turn in Parsha Konasana. Trini, exhale, bend the right knee, keep the right hand on the right side of the right foot. So where is this shoulder? It's above the head level. So this comes to almost 90 degrees. This leg doesn't bend. Chatwari, inhaling, stretch the left arm on the left ear. You can see the angles will come perfect. The leg, the body and the arm will come in one line if the distance is correct. Now some people are like this, right? So why is it happening? I'll tell you. The reason is the leg is this much only. So what will happen? You saw the difference of that position of the leg?
Your phone has no data connection, so I can't help you with that.
So reason for that wrong alignment is the step is short. So the step should be long, about 4 to 4.5 feet, 4 feet to 4.5 almost. And then the arm will come in line. So it's not like this. See, this is another mistake. Shoulder and shoulder in same level. No. This shoulder comes above the other shoulder, above the head level. 3 breaths here. Exhale, hand back, look down. Catching the waist. That is Pancha. Shat, inhale, stand up. Where is the shoulder? This shoulder is here only. Inhalation. Exhale, turn. So, what are the important points of this asana? First is the distance of the step, number 1. Second is turning the foot, not the body. Some people are turning. So they will not attend this class. They will come at 5:45 batch and they will turn without knowledge. How much ever I tell, they will not be able to understand. Now that's the thing. So I want all people to attend these classes so that these subtle points are very important when you practice yogasana. Yeah. So I forgot another thing. Some points of your Surya. When you do that Surya Namaskara, I find some people doing like this. I got recollection. That's my point. When you lift like this. Can you tell me what is the error in this? Can anybody tell me? Anybody? Can you tell me the error in this position?
They have to come in the front and then go up.
No. In this position, I am staying in a position. What is the error here?
The chest should be lifted.
Shoulders.
Who is telling about shoulder?
Bharat sir.
And somebody else, the chest should be lifted. So both are correct. See here, if you do like this, I'll tell you what is the problem will come. Ideally, it will be like this. You saw this? The chest is lifted and the shoulders are below the neck. It's not like this. Now, if you do this, I'll tell you what will happen. See, there is something called the rotator cuff here. There are a lot of ligaments in this place. Generally, this error is done by people who don't have the upper body strength, and especially children, beginners. When you do this, see this, there is an undue strain on the shoulder, that rotator cuff. After a few months or say 6 months or 1 or 2 years, you will come tell that my shoulders are having injury. The reason does not lie in the class. The reason lies in our mind. So how much ever, see, these are the things that you have to learn. You should not ignore these small points, because they are the ones which cause the trouble. Tennis elbow. What is that? What is the other one called? Rotator cuff injury, carpal tunnel syndrome, knee problem, back pain. All these are after effects of neglecting these points. If you neglect, chalega, next time kar lega. All those things, don't do. I'm telling you now itself. See, you have to take these points very, very clear at your mind. This is an undue strain on the shoulder. See this? How will the shoulder take this, weight month after month like this? It will not take. The body has to lift with the strength of the muscle. The shoulder, the muscle is lifting. The trapezius muscles at the back, they are lifting the spine, lifting it up. It should not shrink, dip below the shoulder, undue strain on the rotator cuff. These are points I'm telling you. I observe lot of people do these things. Another thing, this one, when you go down like this, nobody should take a push-up like this. It is tennis elbow, guaranteed tennis elbow. This elbow, both the joints will go away like this. Thumb and all. After 1 year, you will tell me, because you are not focusing. You are keeping your elbow like this. I told you elbow should be like this. Many times you are almost 6 months, almost 1 year practicing. After 1 year also you are not able to realize what I am talking about. You are lifting your upper body in Surya Namaskara like this. Like this. What will happen? Shoulder injury, elbow injury. Guarantee, I am telling you now itself. Don't tell me after 6 months. You will get injury. The reason is your mind problem. You are not listening. You are not following. You are not acting. You are not learning. I am not saying that you are not learning anything. These points you have to pick up and ensure that you modify. For that, you have to become sharp. You have to practice with discipline. You have to straighten your back. You have to sit straight. You have to, all these things you have to bring in your daily session. Only then things will change. Otherwise, it will not. Another thing, when you do that, this one, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, I've seen people doing like this. Where is the chest? Where is the back? You can see my lower back is undue. I'm lifting the leg, but my lower back is undue strain here. All this L3, L4, L5, all these problems will come. Reason? My chest is not in front of the wrist. When you lift up, the upper body should be lifted up, floating in the front. Did you see my chest? It came front and up. Front and up. Where is my arm? My arm is here, chest is in front. Observe my chest. Last week also I mentioned this. So bring the body front and lift up. So the front, chest, shoulder, all these will take the weight. The weight will not come here. It will protect your back. Still, seniors are doing this. There are seniors who are practicing like that. Keeping the hand below the shoulder and lifting. If you're doing that, you can do cobra, no problem. So if you don't want to do it this way, I mean keeping the knees in the air and all, okay, do normal Bhujangasana. You don't have to lift your knees up. Do normal Bhujanga, that is safe. Better than doing Urdhva Mukha Svanasana with a wrong position of the palm. palm by the chest. I say palm by the chest. I don't say palm below the shoulder. Still people do that. Like this. When I say palm by the chest, they keep it here or somewhere here. No, it has to be here. Elbow will be above the wrist. Elbow above the wrist. Check the elbow. It's above the wrist. So when you lift, the body comes in front automatically. See that? The cobra or the Urdhva Mukha. The reason it came correctly is that just because I ensured my elbow above the wrist, palm by the chest, just simple, following the techniques. That's all what is required. Learn these small nuances of your practicing. Instead of आज मेरा head touch करना है मेरा घुटने में, आज मैं करना है मुझे. This is not what you should do. So you should not see, if you observe, some people ask, so I fall this, when I am not able to touch my leg, it is okay, let it not touch, don't worry. Analyze why it may not be touching, because your body is like that as of now. Let it take its time, no problem. So what should I do when I am doing halasana? I keep telling, you have to stop where the knee starts bending. And people don't listen. They keep going back and then they bend the knee and struggle. They will spoil the neck. What is the indication that your halasana is enough? You should not go beyond. I observe Tanmay and all. The reason is you have to slow down your mind, Tanmay. My idea is to protect your neck and all. So when you're in halasana, imagine you are in sarvangasana. Now imagine you take the leg down like this and you reach a point where you cannot go beyond this. So what you're doing is you're doing like this. What will happen? Pressure on the neck is more. Your body's knee is bending, the neck is getting pressed. Instead of that, stop here. It's okay to stop here and balance. Where the knee starts bending, stop. Then inhale, come back. So, and ensure these points are followed. These points are not made by me. All these have come from the knowledge of our own gurus. They have found out, they have suffered injuries. I have suffered injuries. From their own experience, they are teaching, they are telling us, please do this, please don't do this, please do this, please don't do this. So that intelligence they have given us, we have to follow that. That's all what you have to do. They know halasana will take 2 years or 5 years. Let it take. No. It's not a problem that my leg is not touching the back. Our body has not reached that level. Let it not touch. Don't worry about that. You worry about other things which can injure you, which may have chances. Okay. So these are the things I want to say. Then Parivarta Parshva. Yeah.
Bharat here.
Yeah.
Sir, when I do the Sarvangasana, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes what I observed is like you told me, right? Like you need to bring the elbows nearer to the body, right? So to get the straightness in the Sarvangasana. So when I'm not able to do that, I think in the Niralamba Sarvangasana, right? So we'll leave the hands on the mat.
Yeah.
So like we'll get a maximum straightness on that time. So if I wait for 1 or 2 seconds on that, and then I can able to bring the hands nearer in the Sarvangasana. So I am practicing in that way actually.
Okay, that means
bringing the hand. Yes, sir.
Okay, that means after you do that in Niralamba Sarvangasana, where you keep your hand down, then when you bring the hand back, that time your elbows are a little more closer than earlier. That's what you're telling.
Correct. Correct, sir.
Okay,
that's why I'm when doing the Sarvangasana, I'm directly doing the Niralamba Sarvangasana first, then slowly bringing the elbows nearer to the body to support it. So
I think that's a good idea. It's a good idea. Maybe when you go up, you are initially you are not supporting, and then when you after reaching, you are bringing the hands close, elbow closer, and then supporting, right?
Correct. Because in the Nirarambha Sarvangasana, right, we will get a more straightness compared directly in the Sarvangasana. So then bring the elbows for the support. Then we'll get a good straightness compared to the direct Sarvangasana. So that's what I observed from last couple of months or something.
Yeah, good. Thanks for sharing that knowledge. Others also, those who are attending the class. I think what he's talking about is, see, the position of the elbow in Sarvangasana is very important. What he's talking about is a very important point. I'm just showing the back view, so you'll get that a little more easier understanding. So when I, little space limitation, okay. Exhale. Inhale, take up. Now what he's telling is he will come like this and then support the back this way.
Yeah, bring almost whatever the straightness you want in the Nirambara Sarvangasana, then take the support. So then it will be the easier to bring the elbows nearer.
You can see I'm trying to keep I keep my elbows very close. Many people they are keeping like this. When you keep like this, you will not get that proper straightness. So after some time, you have to, during an exhalation, you have to bring the elbows as close as possible like this and support as low as possible. Don't support here. So these are all, if you don't have a pain on the neck, if you have a pain on the neck, you can remain a little low. If you don't have pain on the neck, you have to keep on improving the support and bring the elbows as close as possible into the center, and hand support should be as low as possible, not up near the buttocks. You have to bring it as low and don't bring the elbow wide, keep it close as much as possible into the body. These points can be noted. Thanks for sharing, Bharat. He just shared his technique of, he stays without support initially.
Correct.
Once he gets the straightness, then his arms are already straight. So he just brings the elbow up, the palm up and supports it. So you can, others can just note how to learn that technique, what Bharat is talking about.
Sir, is it possible for Bharat to share us that video about how he is doing, just to check how he is practicing that?
Yeah, Bharat, can you?
Yeah, sure. Sure, sir. I will take a video and I will send it in the group.
Yeah, thank you for that. Now, another
Sir, one question in when we do Baddha Konasana, you always mention stretch thighs as much as possible and get it lower actually.
Yeah, that is spreading the knees, and bringing the feet as much as possible together that way. So what I am trying to say is that some people they bring that into this position. So we have to keep the feet press against each other and bring the thighs as wide as possible. And try to bring the knees, I think you're doing it well. And try to press the feet. So when you press the feet, your knees become wider and wider. So don't bring it to that halasana plane here. And some people do this much only. So try to bring it up, the feet up and the knees wide. Here only that the action of the opening of the pelvis will come. The pelvis opens really upwards, not backwards. When I keep on trying to spread the knee and press the feet against each other.
Sir, where is the drishti in this?
In this feet only, center of the feet. When you do that namaste like this, you can look here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one more doubt is when we are in halasana, I'm not able to touch the feet, but when I'm trying to spread and then try to catch the feet, Some days it is okay, but some days I tend to fall actually. I just want to see how you are doing this. If your feet is in air, how are you going to do this?
Yeah, so be careful on this because see the neck extension, this area and the cervical spine, you have to protect that. Okay, be careful. So don't hurt it. Halasana is a little tricky. Sarvangasana not as dangerous as Halasana. Halasana takes a little time. So if you do too much of it, you can spoil the neck. Be careful. It takes a few years to get there. You have to go slow on that. So if you get good extension, then only that Supta Konasana is very easy. If you're not extending the neck properly, then it will snap your neck and you'll get no cervical problem, spondylosis and all. I hope there is place. Little down. See, for me, I'm able to reach there without any strain on the neck. Easy for me. So, some of you may not be able to reach there. It may be here or here. Beyond that, taking may be a little tough. So, don't push too much. Here itself, I open. Supta Konasana. See, I have not taken to move my full Halasana. Here itself, I open. And then slowly, I try to catch the toe. See, I'm balancing on my shoulder and the neck. See, I'm not touching the floor, right? Still, I'm able to balance. Here itself, so almost here only. So maybe here also you can see I'm opening up here and slowly I shift the weight little and try to catch the toe. I've seen people doing that. Keeping on the ground, it's very easy, you can easily catch it. This is actually catching the toe is very, very easy because your legs are already there. Last time, as I said, come a little here and take up. Now, in advanced class, I remember Bharat and all. Now, you're doing like this. That's not the way. See, I reach here with an inhalation. Then exhale. Exhale and see, I brought my buttocks on my left hand. I came down, not towards the head side, towards the elbow side. Inhale again. Now exhale, take this leg here. You see this Parshva Sarvangasana.
Okay, so I need to bring into the front of the elbow. Then.
It's not
okay.
Here.
Okay.
Not this. You have to get it here. Actually, it stretches my lower back. It opens the little arch on the back.
Okay, I understand.
Inhale, come back. Exhale. Inhale.
So because I confused because towards elbow side, then maybe I am bringing to the sideways. I think so.
You're taking it to the shoulder side.
Correct. Yeah. Okay, I understand.
So you have to be careful, especially when you do this. Now, did you observe when I did too much of it? I was about to fall that side.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be careful. So when you take the weight here, you have to stop where the balancing point comes. Beyond this, you should not take. If I stretch beyond this, I'll fall. I'll fall to this side.
So what do you call this asana?
Parshva Sarvangasana. That's there in advanced class. Dangerous. Don't try it just like that. Try carefully. If at all you're trying alone. Okay. We don't
Yes,
do
sir, got it.
Yeah, don't, because you may fall this side, you will sprain the neck. And what we do in the intermediate class is Parshva Ekapada Sarvangasana. Here it is Dvipada. Both the legs are going, right? when we do, I think last month or so, we did this Ekapada. Remember? I hope you remember.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This is Parshva Ekapada. But this is Parshva Sarvangasana. The full, both the legs go to that side. Okay.
Sir, one more question.
Yeah.
In children's class, you say 80-degree and all. While doing that, my knee bends.
So you should try not to bend the knee, that's all. You're not trying. The reason is you're not putting that effort to do it. If you are in front of me now, I'll guarantee that you will do it. You will be able to do it. The only difference is you will try properly. There, when you are practicing without anybody monitoring you directly, you are not doing it properly. That's the only reason. If I straighten your leg and ask you to in front of me, you will guarantee you will do it today. It is not difficulty. It is only the willfulness that you have to do it. That's all. At your age, no injury will come. You will not get any injury. You have to willfully try. See, even if some small things come in at your age, after within 1 week you will be all right. You keep trying, okay? And you are not, so try to keep the leg straight, knee straight, all that you keep trying. Slowly it will change, okay? Yeah.
Sir, one question in Matsyasana.
Yeah.
You always tell when the first round, when we are in Matsyasana, you say, look at your eyebrows.
Yeah.
But I can't reach to that level. I can max is only I can see my nose, not the eyebrows.
Yeah. So.
And
yeah.
Sorry, and the last one is fifth round. You generally mention to lift up a little more and then squeeze the head little bit inside. Not able to do that also, because whatever position I am in, I continue to remain there. So I needed to know how to improve that one.
See, I'll tell you one important trick of Matsyasana. It's a very important point. If you do that, most of all these actions will fall in line. Is that trick lies on the first step, how you insert your arm. I'm not saying that you're not doing it, but I'm just explaining for the benefit of all of you. The way you insert your arm is the trick of Matsyasana. Then most of the other things the answer for your question lies in this action as per my analysis. When you insert the arms, the full arms below the body, below the buttocks. So most people, I'll show you what they do. They'll do this much. This is, can you find much error in this? It's difficult to find. Okay, my arms are below my buttocks and fairly good enough. Now, in the second step, this is done with an inhalation. Then I exhale here, then inhale, lift the upper. Then exhale, put the head back. Now, if you want all these things to improve, the way is the complete arm should be inserted below. So without elbow bending. So from here, I insert full arm completely below. Now my arms are straight. The elbows are not bending. They are inserted completely below the body. They are very close to each other. Their shoulders are not pushing, rotated inward. They are wide enough, but the arms are fully inserted. Now when I lift up, you see I'm actually literally resting on my elbow. There's not much of this one effort. I lift up fully. From here it's easy to bulge. The intensity of the bulge improves when I come like this, because the height of my chest has increased. Whereas if my hand was like this, see, if my hand is outside, you can observe the change in my height, you can see. Did you see the height is reduced? Now it is difficult to bulge my chest beyond this point because my elbows are wider than required. Elbow should be closer than this position. So that insertion should be really insertion. Do you see this? I lifted this buttock, I really inserted. Then I shifted my weight on this arm and brought the other arm inside. You will see both the arms have come really close. Now my height has increased, like almost like in a very high position. Then from here, very easy to bulge. Bulged. See, last inhalation, bulge the chest a little more and put the head inside. I'm looking at my eyebrow. And inhale, head up. See, full height comes. Exhale. So correct the first step. Maybe you can little improve. If you're already doing right, nothing to worry. It's a matter of time. You'll be able to get there slowly with experience. Otherwise, you just try to improve that insertion of the arms.
Got it, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other queries as well? No. Then, so I'll come to my sequencing. So the second, what is that asana? This Parivarta Parshva. Inhale. Exhale. It's slipping because I did not bring my cloth mat. Inhale. See the full body turn. Now the trick of Parivarta Parshva is the I'll show this here. Is the leg is slipping. Is the armpit on the thigh. Exhale. See this armpit I brought here with my effort. Do you see that? My elbow crossed here. So people do this much. This is the problem. How will you get the twist here? You will not get the twist. So you have to bring this, push this hand if you want. Bring this elbow here. Now the body has turned. You see this? Left chest to the ceiling. I taught this in my class, right? I say bring the left chest to the ceiling. This is exhalation. You see the arm crossed, the shoulder crossed, and then Parivarta Parshva. Chest is up, arm is above the head level. Full palm on the mat, armpit resting on the thigh. This knee 90 degree, this knee 0 degree. You can see how the twist comes now. You will be able to feel the twist which I am making. Now this is Parivarta Parshva, not this. So what should the beginner do? Beginner need not put the hand down. He can keep this armpit and keep the hand in the air, this way. This is enough. See, beginner is asking. It may be here, or it may be here. At least the process is right. No, I'm not trying this. How will the body twist when I keep the hand like this? I hope you're able to get my point right. So try to bring armpit. Get that right first, instead of putting the hand down and stretching the other hand.
Remember in class while doing, you stop me some.
Because you are all confused. You are not able to understand what is leg, hand and all. You're keeping right hand, left leg, right, all thing you are making masala. So I cannot. Because if you do like that, then I will also get confused, no? Everybody else is, somebody does something else. So I cannot take the class when you do something which is not told. I stop you because you are doing fully wrong. You are doing left hand, you are doing all this. I don't know what you are doing. I am also not able to understand what you are doing. You are doing hand here, leg here, head here, something and all you are doing. So first you have to wait. What you have to do? I will tell you. Now did you see me doing? I also upload this video on the YouTube, right? I showed go home after the class, put that video in YouTube, watch it step by step, break it up, spend half an hour just to learn this asana. You have to do homework. You learn this asana. I'll be thrilled to see you doing it on this Tuesday.
Okay.
You are not able to know what you call surprise, giving me these surprises. I'll congratulate you if you do correctly next Tuesday. Take it as a challenge. Tanmay will go home after the class, put video, check every step. Okay, right hand, left leg, right armpit, left arm, everything you break down, bits and pieces. Spend 1 hour to learn this asana. Come on Tuesday and challenge me. Then I will not stop you. I'll ask you to upload that video in the group. How you made it happen. This is what I want you to do. You tell me. So don't tell me what you cannot do. What you did, you tell me. What you achieved. Okay, I spent half an hour learning Parivarta Parsha Konasana, and sir, this is Parivarta Parsha Konasana. Show me that. That is yoga. Huh? Tanmay, you got me?
Yes, sir.
That is what you have to do. I'll be double happy to see that, how you took your own interest and how you developed your skill and you learned and you came back, and then I cannot stop you. Nobody can stop you. Who can stop you if you're doing the right thing? Nobody can stop you. Huh? Tanmay. Okay, good. Then Malasana. No, Ardha Chandrasana. I think I had put the video last week, right? No, Ardha Chandrasana. Most of the points I had explained in that. So I don't want to spend much time. Just open that video, whatever I have told is clear. The only thing is that bricks are really helpful in that asana. Using bricks, it's very easy when you do that Ardha Chandrasana. When you keep your brick here, you get good height. Many people cannot bend completely down like others, keeping the hand on the floor. So they will all bend the knee, they will all fall because you cannot connect with the knee bending. You will you lose balance like this and all. So if you keep the brick, your body will be, your legs will be straight, you will get a grip. Then it's easy to balance, giving that grip. See, easy grip I am getting. I don't know what is the difficulty at all in this asana. It's a very, very easy asana. Okay, when you look up, you may lose the balance a little. But yes, it's a balancing pose only. You can look down and stay, no problem. Then exhale, look down, hand down, leg down. Then inhale, stand up, arms up, forward moving. Exhale. So invest on 2 bricks. It's very, very easily available on Amazon. You can buy those sponge bricks also. Bricks, it can be used for many things. Even if you are sitting in crossed legs, like this. When you do, see, when I take my classes, I sit in this Sukhasana when I am taking in front of my computer. So if I don't use the bricks, if I like this, my knee can get overstrained. So sitting too long with crossed legs may wear out your knees. So keeping something like this, it will protect. It's easy, I keep using. So bricks will never be a bad investment. You can buy this one, wooden bricks are also there, cork is there, sponge type is there. All these are fair enough. All of them you can, and especially it helps in Hanumanasana also. Okay, Hanumanasana. So another problem is Hanumanasana. Now people are doing like this. So they will all face back injury. Hanumanasana, if you do like this, what is happening? See, all this area is bulging and you're pushing the leg and bulging the back. I'm trying to stretch and bulging the back. What will happen to the lower back? It will damage. You're not supposed to do that. Instead of that, you have to elevate. So when you're here itself, the back should be erect and then the split comes. The Hanumanasana is this, not this. How will you do Hanumanasana this? It will damage, never do like that. So, okay, if you cannot have something, you can use some chairs, something to elevate your back and do this way. This is enough. This is the way to do it, Hanumanasana. So, something to elevate your hand is very useful so that you can do Hanumanasana. Similarly, Ardha Chandrasana, which I showed you now. These are the points of standing asana. Then in Mahalasana, that I'll upload the video tomorrow or Sunday, this week. So one important point of Mahalasana is the back. So don't do Mahalasana like this. It will look okay. From front I cannot understand whether you are right or wrong. It's difficult for me to understand because you are sitting like this. It looks similar, but actually there is a strain on the back. So you have to, again, here also you have to straighten the backs, don't round it. Keep the elbow wide and keep your back erect like this. Press your palm, widen your knee and sit straighter, looking front. So keep the back erect instead of this. Don't do this, do this. So you can see where the knees were inward initially. When I pushed the knee away, it was like this initially. When I pushed it away and took my chest up, pressed my palm, automatically my lower back straightens. So that is an important point of Mahalasana, garland posture. So keep back straighter when you do that. I will post a small video for that tomorrow or Sunday. Sorry, tomorrow is Sunday only, sorry. Mostly tomorrow I will post it. Okay, that is Mahalasana. Then these are the standing asanas. Now any questions on sitting asanas or any other questions, because then I will answer them, so I will get connections and then I will talk something about pranayama.
Shiva, one that pranayama, right? You ask us to do that breathe in, inhale, exhale 70 times, right? Not inhale, exhale. I mean, pushing up, right? So that actually, 70 times is quite difficult actually, doing. Sometimes we miss some numbers.
No problem. You can stop, see after 30 or how many you are able to do conveniently, how many numbers?
Maybe, I'm able to do 70, but I mean, in the middle, like, every 10 I miss 1 or 2. Like maybe overall it will be 60 only.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Don't worry about it. See, it's a group class, right? So as a beginner, maybe you have been practicing for a month or so. So ideally, if you have been practicing for a little time, it's not very difficult. May not be very easy, neither very difficult. Most of the asanas are practices which you face in this batch. This intermediate is intermediate really. It's neither easy nor tough. You will not find very tough asanas. Asanas may be little difficult, some of like Chakrasana, but not very easy also. It's not not a beginner level. Most of the asanas are not beginner level. They are all intermediate level. So after 3 or 4 weeks, generally people gradually pick it up. Now, so what you can do is, first you can say 20 or 30 rounds you do, take a break, skip 10 rounds, then start from the say 41st that way. So you can break it up into 2 parts and then just practice this. So that's nothing to worry. The numbers, how many numbers you do is not going to give any difference in the benefit that you arrive out of it. If you are doing your best, the benefit you get, I get is all the same.
Okay.
Yeah. But what I corrected you, I remember, was I think this. So initially when you were doing Bhastrika, you were doing like this. I think you corrected.
Actually, I want to ask that. Yeah.
But you corrected it, I think. That's good of you that you corrected it. Initially, when you were lifting the chest up, the hand was also going like this.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Hand was not being used for anything. But now I think from last 2 classes, I found that you're pressing this mudra is for pressing. And with this pressure, the chest rises. Like that. So push this and lift the chest. I think
Okay,
that's
okay.
correct. That's a good.
Yeah, and also, right, you keep that, hand positions, no, different positions. I forget the name. I mean, like, when Vajrasan, you say your finger should be in this mudra. So your different mudras, what? Yeah.
Yeah. So this is
This
Dhyana Mudra. Dhyana Mudra,
Dhyana Mudra,
where
yeah.
the thumb and your index finger will touch. Other fingers are naturally curled. They are not straight. They are naturally.
Yeah.
This is called Dhyana Mudra. Dhyan Mudra. Some people Gyan Mudra they call it. Dhyana Mudra. Then Brahma Mudra is for Bastrika, where you fist the hands, but your thumb is inside the fist.
Yeah.
The hands are fisted and the thumbs are inside the fist and the back of your wrist on your thigh. This is called Brahma Mudra. Brahma Mudra.
Yeah.
And this is Dhyana Mudra. Generally in this month we are using only these two, I think.
Only Dhyana Mudra, yeah, correct.
Dhyana Mudra and Brahma Mudra. When you do Brahmari and all, we do this Shanmukhi Mudra we use. Otherwise, there are no mudras. These are the two mudras which we use. Another thing is, I have noticed in your Vakrasana, when you twist, you are keeping your hand like this.
Yeah.
No, wait. Like this. Now, you have to, your palm is facing the this side, my straight leg side. What you have to do, turn the palm this way. The palm is facing this way. So because you are going to catch this toe, how will you catch the toe like this? So you have to, your elbow should not be facing here. I think your elbow is also facing this, I'm not very sure. Elbow should, the inner elbow, this inner elbow should face there. And my palm is also facing there and catching. You see this?
Okay, understood. Yeah, I think.
This way.
Yeah.
Turn it this way. Okay.
Okay.
So that you can catch the toe.
Okay. I think maybe I may not be able to touch it like that.
See, this is also fine.
Yeah. Okay.
But you should not do like this. Earlier you were doing like this something. All these things. The hand was not kept. But now you are corrected. Yeah. This is fine.
Yeah.
This is fine. All these are fine because I am on the way to reach there. I have not reached there, but my path, my road is correct. When I do this, my road is not correct. See, I am not planning to go there. Or I don't know that I have to reach here. That's the problem. So you have to open the palm this side and try to. You may not reach, just try. This is enough.
Okay.
Sir, is there binding in this?
Yeah, Marichiyasana. Is there?
Can you just show that? I just want.
Yeah, for binding, what you have to do is your elbow has to cross. Now see my elbow. The elbow is in front of the knee. So how is this done? This is exhalation, twisting. Then I have to inhale here. On the next exhalation, take this hand here. So the elbow is crossed, and then it's very easy to catch. Binding, Marichiyasana. So this elbow has to cross. For that, the armpit has to reach the thigh. Armpit reaching the thigh, then it's easy to take this elbow back and catch. Actually, the binding is very good. I mean, you feel really nice to take that binding because you're binding around your leg and you're opening up your chest. You try that. It's a very nice binding catch.
Sir?
Yeah.
Yeah, but when I do the binding, no, sir, the body sometimes comes forward when I do the binding.
Who is this?
Anuhya, sir.
Anuhya, you are able to do the binding. I have seen you. Your body comes where?
Sir.
Here.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you're coming front.
I'll be catching it, but it's not coming straight. I'm like leaning forward.
No. So once you catch it, try to again extend it back. No.
Okay.
Once you catch it, take the binding and then again rotate it.
Okay.
Okay. Anuhya, I want you to focus on breath since you are there. Your breath has.
Yes, sir.
I want you to know good.
Yeah, I am so having a breath problem while I take the binding.
Not only binding, even other things. That time also I want you to do a lot of breath focus.
Yes, sure, sir.
Okay. Then who else is there? Anita. Anita, any other point?
Sir, I got confused on the Parivrtta Janu Shirasasana, that the side which I
Yeah, I remember. You are rotating the, but you have corrected now, no? You know the technique, right?
Yeah.
And in Surya Namaskara, few times I found some steps, getting skipped. Okay, that's fine. Maybe a little of here and there. Divya, yeah, I corrected that. You were, all the questions of Rama I spoke, Tanmay I spoke, Anshuman, no problem. Then,
Naveen here.
yeah, Naveen, yeah, tell me.
Yeah, I think this week I did a lot of mistakes. Anything you want to?
Yeah. So one of the things was that Ashwa Sanchalan, I think that the point where you see your back has to improve. Your back bends have to improve a lot, especially when you do that Chakrasana or when you do that one leg back. No, I think this step when you take back, there's too much of, you're not really taking this leg back, I think. When you do that one leg back, try to, no, I think it's a little short this way.
Okay.
Try to take it a little more back and try to bring your hip low and chin up like that. That step you can correct. Then work on your Setubandhasana little more so that your Chakrasana is more easier. Because I find a lot of strain on your Chakrasana. It's coming up, but a lot of strain is there on your back.
Right.
Let's improve those. I think little improvement you can make on those back bends. Yeah.
Sure.
Then, yeah, that's it. Then Bharat, music. That's it. Now we'll speak a little about pranayama. Another thing, many people, okay, I'll do some dipsticks now, dipstick check. So let me see how many of you can quickly answer those questions. Okay, we did one asana which was the pillar Setubandhasana. What is the name of that asana? Anybody quickly?
Sarvanga Setubandhasana. Setubandha Sarvangasana, yes.
Anshuman got it second time right. Setubandha Sarvangasana.
Okay, sir.
Okay, yeah, at least second time you got it right. What is the correct name of Chakrasana?
Urdhva Dhanur.
Who is that? Anita?
Yeah.
See, Urdhva Dhanurasana. Okay, what is the name of the asana where the arms are wide and one leg goes to the other hand?
So is it when we sleep?
Yes, in
When we lay down?
when you're sleeping position, you after coming back down from Sarvangasana, one leg is on the mat, the other leg goes and it's caught by the other hand, right? What is that asana called?
Makarasana.
No.
Not Makarasana.
Jataka.
Not Jataka.
Markadasana.
Who is that?
Bharat, sir.
Bharat. Sunil. Sunil PV, no? Now see. So he knows the answer. See? So that is Markatasana, where the one leg is going to the other hand, it's caught, right? Now, what is the asana where, what is this asana? This one. What is the name of the asana?
Ardha Chandrasana.
Chandrasana, correct. What is that name of doing Namaste in a squat position?
Malasana.
Malasana. Sir, Markatasana, any tricks? I think I was doing wrong that one, Markatasana.
So it's a little difficult one. So initially maybe you are not able to catch the toe, right, when this leg is going.
Right.
So, but your process is okay. It's not having in much deviations. But what I've seen process, if I see some process deviation, immediately automatically mind clicks something. So I'll try to correct you that time itself. So if you observe, I asked about 4 or 5 questions. Only 2 or 3 or 4, there are about maybe 10-15 people in the class, but 3 or 4 people are repeatedly answering. So it is, so what we need to learn the name of all these asanas. So people don't know, right? When I ask that Markatasana, many people don't know. Then, so we should try to learn the name of all the asanas. All the names, Ardha Chandrasana, Malasana. What is the name of this asana? This one? What is the name?
Parshakonasana.
See, Anita is quickly, she is answering that, right? Because it's there in her memory. So she is trying effortfully to learn all the names of the asanas. Otherwise, she cannot reply like this. But many others, when I ask Tanmay, can you tell the name of the asana? He cannot know. You don't know, right, Tanmay? Why? The reason is you have not put conscious effort to learn it. So we have to put conscious effort to learn the names. So it will be easier and we will be able to tell and you will be able to analyze things better. So let's learn. If I call you red shirt, it's like that, right? Red shirt, long pants, tall person, fat person or lean person. How will it look like? No. I have to call you by your name. I have to call Tanmay, I have to call Anita, Nuhya, Bharat, Divya. I have to name Shilin. I cannot say something else. So you have to call the asanas with name. You have to learn all the names. That's another important point.
Sir,
Then,
sorry, I had a question on Ushtrasana, if you don't mind, sir.
Yeah.
So I think you say you keep the knees away, but the feet together, is it? I'm confused.
Feet is also apart only. So knees apart, feet apart. You have a choice of the feet position. That can be like you can either keep your feet like this or like this. Beginners, so there is a distance between the knee, 1 foot distance, almost like a shoulder distance when you bend back. So like that you have to get the little spread. So in Iyengar books they have given this also, but it's a little intense. Don't try, it may hurt your back because the back bend becomes too intense when you keep your legs together. That also is allowed as per the books. But as beginners you can do standing toe this way. This way. Once you are able to do it very easily, you can do sleeping toe. So both these positions are allowed. These are the variations you can do, the feet position. If you find it very tough, some people you can do Ardha Ushtrasana this much. So you can just push and just bend and stay. It gives almost the same effect. And once you feel you are gradually getting there, you can catch the heel also.
So one quick question. When I do Ushtrasana and when I do the last one, when we do the Dhanurasana, when I try to take my hand back, basically, especially when I do Ushtrasana, the right hand I'm able to take it back and keep it on my knee, but catch my toe. But with my left, I feel a little difficult to reach my toe.
So maybe do you get a difficulty on the shoulder or the hip? Where is it?
It's basically, I think it's on the shoulders, because when I move, it takes a little time for me to settle down. By then the count is gone actually.
It's okay. So maybe some difficulty on this because generally right-handed people, no, you are right-handed I think. So right-handed people, the flexibility of this shoulder will be better always. It comes more evident when you do Gomukhasana. Here you will be able to catch. Now you try the other side. Here it will be a little tough. If you do Gomukhasana, you try this Gomukhasana, that time also you will feel similar difficulty.
Yes, actually left almost all asanas I have a problem because the flexibility I think is not that much when it compared to right. Right, I'm very comfortable. Left, I always have a problem.
So I think you can must be just due to the flexibility of this shoulder, which is causing you little difficulty to know when to settle down like this. So first you can do one thing, you catch this heel and then catch this heel. So I think you can do standing toes if you find it, instead of too much of strain on your shoulder. If you do this, the intensity of the back bend increases and the shoulders will get little more too much of strain. Maybe you can do this. Ushtrasana also gives a good effect. It opens up the chest, gives the arch. It gives an effect. If you feel too much of strain on this shoulder, do it standing feet. That may be easier to you.
Okay. And Dhanurasana, what happens is when I'm trying to catch my toe by pulling my hand back, it's very difficult to get the left one really connected to the toe. The hand stretch is not that good that I can get it connected and then pull it up. I'm not able to lift the thighs upward also.
I think that will come a little, because maybe when you're trying to reach, the leg fold is not enough, so that it's easier to catch. Maybe the thigh and your calf, is not giving proper space for you to catch it. When you lift up like this, so you're not able to catch it properly, right? Here, so it's like this maybe.
Yes, sir. Not even there. I try to catch the toe, but then the left one is very difficult. And when I try to pull the thighs up, when the second count and the third count, not able to lift that much actually. Like how you're doing, I'm not able to reach to that extent.
Yeah, so I think as long as your process is right, you should not do much worry about it. And in some classes they do with belt, but in that group class you will not get time to, they bind the belt here, they put a belt here and then catch it and lift. So that may not work during that group class, you will not get much time to do that. So I think you can take a little time, catch this, and then take an inhale, exhale and catch this, and try to lift the thigh instead of your chest. Try to lift the thigh instead of the chest. Let the chest be low, lift your thighs that way. I think it's a little matter of time to get there. I don't think that is not a process deviation. It's more of difficulty in the actual practice. That's all I think.
Okay, sir.
I think it's all 5:43. So beyond that, we'll not have much time. With that, we close. So thanks for attending. I'll upload the video also. Keep attending. A lot of people who are coming, I can see these regular faces. Thanks to communicate to others also so that they also start attending these classes. Namaste.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thumbs up. Exhale, heart center. Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.